Hello, this is Lisa LaRose here on Connect to Love on PRNFM, and I am joined by the amazing Michael J. Russ, who keeps me on point and constantly inspires me with so many wonderful things. So I want to say welcome to you, Michael, and I really appreciate all that you put forth towards the show and all the inspiration. It's just really delightful. You get my mind thinking in so many different ways, and I hope the audience is equally inspired. So
we are each other's muse. That's how I like to put it.
It is so true. When the cats aren't in the room, right?
We are. Absolutely, yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah. No, it's amazing. So Michael sent me an article to peruse, and I found this quote that I just absolutely loved, and it was by this woman, Becca Lee, and it said, "The purpose of this glorious life is not simply to endure it, but to soar, to stumble and flourish as you learn to fall in love with existence. We were born to live, my dear, not to merely exist." And I thought, oh my gosh, I love this, to soar, to stumble and flourish. And I think that no matter where we are in our lives, we when we're born, we're little kids, we experience the world. There's lots of amazing things to discover, and I think that's the key, to continue through that every single day and to practice and to find those things that help you flourish and help to bring you joy. And so I would love to hear, because there was something specific, Michael, that inspired you on this topic, and I'm just going to let you kind of kick it off, because I have lots to say, but I'd love for you to sort of drive this show and see what was inspiring you.
Thank you. It's hobbies. When we're young, we had the ability to, and the time, because we're not trying to earn a living and pay for a life, we have a lot of time to be creative and to be curious about ourselves and life. And we have a tendency, I don't believe that we engage in any activity by accident. In my view, it comes because we engage in an activity because we somehow are exposed to it. Maybe we have a predisposition for whatever it is, whatever that activity is. We've been drawn to it. Law of attraction, or maybe soul attraction to it. So you go out and maybe you join a soccer team, or you join a football team or a baseball team or whatever, and then you find out that you've got an inclination for playing. You've got the ability to engage in whatever it is in a positive way. It brings you joy. It brings you a sense of satisfaction. Same thing for like playing guitar or picking up, hitting a piano key and finding out that you enjoy it, or crafts, or drawing, or art, whatever it may be, sculpting, art. You really, in your youth, you develop these little hobbies that you have for yourself, and sometimes you step into them fully. Other times you just kind of bounce from thing to thing, enjoying them, but not really so much so that you want to engage in it at depth. Let's put it that way, at depth, where you want to really get into it and learn all the nuances, etc. But you've enjoyed it. As we age and progress, and we get into school, and you have to study and make grades, and you have to somehow create some sort of life plan for yourself, a lot of these things go by the wayside. And my point to people is that we need to revisit some of the things that we enjoyed as in our youth, let's say, things that brought us a sense of satisfaction. I have my girlfriend's sister-in-law is into scrapbooking. She's got a big scrapbooking business, and it turns out that there are lots of people around the world who scrapbook. So she has this big event that she put together about 5 years ago that's just growing and growing and growing exponentially at Disney World in Orlando every September.
How fun.
Oh, yeah, she does this thing, and people come from all over the world. It's like 240, 250 people now from all over the world come to Disney
That's
World.
Incredible.
These are women. These are women, by the way. There's no men scrapbooking. This is all women. And they're scrapbooking. They come for 4 or 5 days of scrapbooking. And she has this beautiful contemporary hotel ballroom. They have 3 meals a day. They're in there. It's open. The room is open 24 hours, and you can come and go, meet people, scrapbook, come to eat a meal, share, get some fellowship, some connection with other people from around the world, and you basically share a hobby that is close to your heart, right? And it's a fantastic success, and it keeps growing, like I said, exponentially every year. That's just one example. People go on golf trips. People organize golf trips. I've been on a golf trip to Malaysia, not once but twice, where other golfers from around the world came, and we descended upon Kuala Lumpur, and there was an organization that organized golf, 5-6 days of golf, morning and afternoon, and then we get together, we eat breakfast, and then we stay in the same hotel and everything. So it's the key. I play the drums. People play music. And what I tell people is that the most important thing in life for you is to remain connected to those things that make you feel good about life. Mm-hmm. That's really what this is about. What makes you feel good about life? Identify it. If it's a hobby, if it's something that you like engaging in every once in a while, and you find yourself not doing it, that you haven't done it in a while, because you got busy with life, understand that those things that make you feel good about life those feelings bleed into everything else that you do. They just spill over into everything. And so I love golf, and I'd never give it up. It doesn't mean I have to play 4 times a week. I would love to play 3 times a week. However, it's not important to. I look forward to it. I go out. I play. I enjoy the nuance, every nuance of the game, mental through the physical, and it makes me feel absolutely alive when I'm out in the elements playing in nature, right? So I like golf courses everywhere. People say, "What's your favorite golf course?" I said, the next one I play that I've never played before. That's my favorite course. I don't lament about what happened in the past. I've played some awesome courses, and I have great memories. However, golf is about what you're doing now. It's a game where you have to be in the moment. You're forced to be in the moment, like most hobbies, right? If you're somebody who likes to do stained glass, it's meditative to do that. It's creative. It's meditative. It's inspirational. It makes you feel, again, alive, and it lets you know. It actually gives you a sense of satisfaction because it's something you do. Something you can do at whatever level. You don't have to be expert. You could just be a beginner, whatever. Pay attention to the feelings that you get from whatever it is you engage in. Some people like gardening. So you go out in a garden and you create it, and you get a sense of satisfaction from working with the soil, having your hands in the soil, making sure that you're taking a plant from a small little seedling or baby thing to something big that flowers or that looks beautiful or whatever. You have a garden you can look at, and it brings you a tremendous sense of satisfaction. Some people like woodwork. So they do home projects, and they do this, and they do that. I'm kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to doing that. If I have to figure a way out of Jimmy Jack something at the barn, then I figure out how to do it, and I have fun doing it, and I have a tremendous sense of satisfaction. I tell my girlfriend all the time, I could have been a great carpenter had I moved into that direction, but you can only have so many hobbies, and I already have a lot of them. So it's one of those things where you can engage in every once in a while, or I have a drum set sitting next to my desk. I can play those and engage in that and perfect that skill. I've got a golf course outside my back door. I can do that. I can go to the beach and take a walk on the beach, or even clean the beach if that's something that I want to do. Engage in, take a plastic bag and a picker and have fun walking, enjoying the water and the sand on my feet and my toes, and clean the beach as well. There are a lot of things that we can do. The point is not to let your hobbies go to waste. Don't let them, sit. Don't let them be undone. Don't let them be something that you just forget about, because they have a place, a valid place in your life and in terms of your feelings. So, and when it comes to being healthy and living a long life, there's a gentleman I just saw. He was a gentleman who was one of the partners and founders of PayPal. No, he wasn't a founder of PayPal. He had a business that he sold to PayPal about 5 or 10 years ago. And he got like $800 million for selling this business.
Wow.
And the story on the news about him, or this magazine story, was about how he's into longevity. Now, he's only 46 years old. However, he has completely, his life and time is absorbed by things that can help him stay young. I mean, he's got medical contraptions. He's got exercise contraptions. He's got a mask with light. He's got the table with red light, the infrared light. He's got all these things, and he designs his entire day around doing things that help him and his body, inside and out, remain young, turning back the aging process. And I'm watching the show astounded by the fact that he's doing all these things, and two things came to mind. Number one, when is he connecting with people? That was the first question. The second question is, what is his motivation behind doing this? Because I was told by somebody much smarter than myself that your motivation for doing something is everything. And my question, if he was standing in front of me, would be, are you doing this out of fear or worry that you will age? Or are you doing this because it's fun? Because nothing about his demeanor looked like he was having fun, except when he talked about food. He talked about food. He says, what's the absolute? I mean, he literally went to all the top people in the world, and like he took bits and pieces of everything and put it together. And his whole day is he spends 6 hours a day doing this stuff.
Wow! So there was no joy in it.
Yeah, I'm going like, where's the joy in dragging this, 100-pound weight backwards, by your pool? And he says, well, he gets to meditate when he puts the mask on. When he wakes up, he puts this light mask on. He says, that I use that, I meditate with this thing on. I can engage in some meditation. I said, that's great. But it's like connection, joy, and mainly connection. We had a show. We talked about the power of connection in terms of staying young, in terms of living longer. And it's like, I wanted to ask this. They didn't cover any of this. What's your attitude? What's your feeling about it? What makes you happy? What is it that brings you a sense of satisfaction? And where's your connection with people? Who are you connecting with? Who do you get together with to laugh with and to cry with on occasion, and to just have fun with? What are your hobbies? And maybe this whole thing is maybe one big hobby for him. It was. And he literally sat there at the end of it, and he said, my body, my organs in my body, I've got the organs of a 20-year-old, because he gets tested like twice a week.
I know somebody who's very much like that. I'm laughing. I'm just, I find it so fascinating, because
twice a week. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah, got doctors tracking all his progress, but he wants to be the human experiment. And I'm going, that's great and everything, except for...
Yeah,
you having fun doing
out. It? Yeah.
You having fun doing
it? Yeah, maybe he does. You never know. What it is. I think, and I think that's sometimes, like you were saying, that he's so busy doing all these other things, he's missing out on what's right in front of him. Right in front of him is the here and now. I don't know.
They didn't cover it. They didn't focus on that aspect of his life. They just focused on all these technical things he was doing to beat the aging process. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I was kind of joking because I said with my girlfriend, I said, he's dyeing his hair with henna. He's 46. His hair had a reddish tinge to it. You know, the when you dye your hair with the store-bought hair dyes, they're made of henna is the dye. So you can tell somebody who is he's not going to a stylist to have his hair colored naturally. He's using henna. Not that that's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. I'm simply saying, you know, if what he's doing is working, and I've been told by a couple of people, again, smarter than myself when it talks about this, if you're putting the right nutrients in your body and you've got the right mindset and you're doing all the things, you can actually turn your hair back to your normal color.
Yes, you can. Mm-hmm.
So my question is, then why is he coloring his hair to look younger as well? You know, I'm going like, if everything's working, then, and it would, and if not, you know that, you know, maybe something's off or whatever it was. There was a bit of vanity in there with regard to everything that he was doing. I mean, it's like, I plan on living to be 100, and I don't know, 110, 120. What the heck? I'm enjoying life, having a good time.
You do enjoy life.
Yeah, and participating in things that I want to participate in and the like, and helping people, being of service to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yep.
You know,
you're right.
They talk about,
I think, Michael, you're talking about, you know, really, how do you make a positive impact on your own life? And we don't really think about that. We're like, okay, well, I can make an impact by volunteering here. I can do that. But when you really think about it, you know, and create an awareness when you wake up in the morning and you think, what can I do for myself today to bring myself a little bit more joy? And there was something that I read not that long ago, and they said, write yourself a thank you note on your fanciest stationery. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's a brilliant idea. Like, what are you thankful to yourself for? What did you do that you bettered yesterday, or even, you know, what you're drawn to? And I thought, you know, that's a simple way to really make a practice or an awareness of what it is. And then, like you said, if you have, you know, somebody who, and I've heard this from people, well, you know, I'm just so bored. Like, well, you don't have something that you enjoy doing. So if maybe perhaps it's about making a list of identifying what it is that you enjoy doing. Or if you've forgotten about what it is that you enjoy doing, think back to when you were a child or when you were in college or wherever it was. There was something that you enjoyed doing. And I really love your analogy of even about picking up trash, because there's a group of women out in California, and, you know, they were trying to enjoy the beach, and they looked at all the trash, and so they actually made a very fun and very chic. They get together a couple times a month, and it's grown into a big social media thing where they post pictures, and it's sexy to pick up trash. But guess what? They're building friendships. They're building fellowship. They take pictures of everything they collect when they're done. Mm-hmm. And I love that you brought that up, because it doesn't have to be something lofty. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to like take up ice sculpting, or I'm going to take up something that seems impossible. You can, locally, I was at one of the restaurants that is, you know, one of the healthier restaurants, and once a week they have a Scrabble club that meet. And I was watching them, you know, waiting to pick up my food, and I'm looking at them thinking, you know, it was all different ages that you would never have put these people together other than the fact that they had a love for Scrabble. And I thought, geez, I haven't played Scrabble in a long time. I really loved that game. It was a lot of fun, but I don't really have anybody who enjoys it. And you know, what a great idea to be able to join in a club like that and do something with other people who really enjoy it. So if your spouse doesn't enjoy doing something like that, or you're like, oh, like, why would you want me to play Monopoly with you or Scrabble or whatever it is, that you can find groups out there who do have those common interests, and it's okay, and I think it's healthy to sort of branch off and meet new people. And you never know who really loves the same interests that you do, and who knows, you may end up finding a lifelong friend. Maybe it's just you just go there and you're just doing that activity and then you leave. But I would hope that and really think that as you do that, you would find joy in the people that share in that hobby.
True. I agree. Yeah, there are, Facebook right now, the positive aspect of Facebook is that there are groups out there that you can find anybody who has the same interest as you. And the downside of it is that you may not be able to look them in the eye. The idea about connection is being able to be face-to-face with people, to actually have them in your presence, feel their presence, and have them feel yours. Facebook is great at getting people from all over the world to connect with each other in a very superficial way, and it's nicer to be able to connect with people like Scrabble. Scrabble, you get together, or Monopoly or whatever, you get together and have a game night with people. That this year we're having our annual crab feed a week from this Sunday, which is now grown to 20 people. Where we get a 30-pound box of snow crab from Sandy's restaurant, and we invite people over. We put paper all over everything, brown paper all over all the tables and the counter and everything, and we just basically put the crab on the table. You pick the crab, you put all your shells on the brown paper. You don't have to put them on a plate. You make a big mess, and then we just ball everything up and put it in a big plastic bag at the end of the night.
That's so
Everybody
fun.
Can be messy and have a good time, and it's fun. We share great wines and cocktails in some cases. We talk about everything under the sun. It's a very diverse group of people, and just couples that people look forward to it every single year. I even have a friend of mine who's a chef. He said, I wouldn't miss this for the world. He says, he said literally, even if I was dead, I'd come back from the dead just to come to this this event. Yeah, but he's a great chef, and he says, I just love coming because I don't have to worry about cooking. I can enjoy. He loves the fellowship. He loves the fellowship of people. So it's something that you can create. You can create anything. We just meet people from all over, and we say, hey, why don't you come? Hey, why don't you come? And over the years, it's gone from 8 people to 20. We're going to outgrow the house here in just a little bit. I think that's about our limit. However, it's fun, and it involves people who have a similar interest, but superficial. It's eating. You can do a lot of different things. They enjoy wine. They enjoy the food. We enjoy conversation, talking about where we've been, where we're going, what's going on, and all the positive things in life. Nobody brings woes and things to these kinds of events. And if I could wave a magic wand and enable everybody listening and the people who, as an extension of those people, would be listening, have them be able to just focus on the positive in their life, the things that are working, instead of the things that aren't, I would. Because what you focus on is key to everything else. What you're thinking creates your way of being. And it's an interesting conundrum. However, you always have to be connected with what you're thinking. Because as Carol and the teachers say, your law of attraction is always at work. And it's the nuance of it that works. And interestingly enough, I was just talking with Carol, but I was thinking about it when I play golf. It's so true. In every moment of every game you play, if you're on a tennis court and you're playing an opponent, every thought you have has to be connected to your success, to successfully playing your game. In other words, positive thoughts about what you can do, positive thoughts about your stroke, about being in the moment, being focused. It's in order to be successful, you have to be in the moment. You have to be present with no distractions. And so we have a lot of distractions. That's all we have in the world are distractions. Everything's a distraction. You know, the devices. It's why I don't have an Apple Watch. I don't want one. As handy as they may be. I don't want one. I don't want something on my wrist that's buzzing and telling me that somebody's trying to get a hold of me. I get a number of calls from people that are solicitations, and I would not want that being on my wrist. And people, access is something that I grew up, I know, and I know you did too. People didn't have such immediate access to you.
Right.
It's becoming an issue. How do you focus on something if you have people have immediate access? And I've played golf with people during the daytime when it should have, it was business, and they get a business call. And you're like, wait a minute, are we focusing on the game here, or are you focusing on business? It's very challenging. It's very, very challenging.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes like Pavlov's dog. You hear the ring, and you think you need to respond right away. And it wasn't like that before you had an answering machine, or people if they didn't have an answering machine, you just had to call back when it was convenient, and it just was the way that it was. And when you sent me the information on the Nature Medicine study, and I didn't realize how large it was. It was like 90,000 people that they studied from all over the world, and I found it so fascinating because they looked at all different types of things and how a hobby could really impact, not just your mortality, but other things, and dementia, whatever else it was. But that these people that had a hobby, and it was all different types of things, it really improved their happiness and their quality of life. And I do believe that a lot of it is connection. I mean, I have a good friend that loves to dance, and she had her partner decided he would take up. He wasn't a good dancer, and he went to take lessons. And it was interesting because when he surprised her, her reaction was, "Well, these are my other friends." And I said, "Well, no, it's really sweet that he wanted to do that for you." And she said, "But this is my time." And I thought about that. I thought, what does that mean to have your time? But I can understand, like, there's something that's nurturing, and just the freedom of just being in that space where she can be a different person, or whatever it is that she just loves it. And she has invited him to join her on occasion. But I do understand sometimes it's okay to, I think when we get into these relationships, that sometimes it's difficult to sort of say, well, I'm kind of interested in that. Maybe I could go listen to that lecture. And I think of all of the lectures that over the years, that would never have been of interest to my partner. But listening to Edwin O. Wilson about ants and how they function, and going to see the guy who built the Segway, and just listen. I mean, to me, that was like just amazing. Like how somebody's brain can. Yeah, he is.
He was an amazing guy.
Yeah, and but that's what stimulates me. That's you have to find what it is that you enjoy.
Right, but I'm glad you brought up the concept of relationships in all of this. It's one of the things that I always Glenn Brooks and I used to have this tug of war.
I had the same tug of war with him, so please.
It's a tug of war about relationships, and how, in my view, we are two separates coming together to share life. His view was the two separate ought to become the we, and I'm like, no. If you become the we, then you have to give up part of yourself. Which part do you give up? And will you regret giving up that part of yourself? And I know people who have actually done that. They've become the we because that's what they were told. You have to give up, you give up this thing you really like to do something now that you can both do, or, that person will feel a little left out, and, this is what you need to do. And they're like, but they've done that, and then 10, 15 years later, they regret doing it. And I'm like,
right.
Yeah, well, you don't want to live in a world of regret, and I don't believe any partner should in a relationship should make their other partner, their significant other, say, no, I don't want you to do that. You're great at ice skating, and I'm not, so I don't want you to ice skate, because I can't do it very well. Let's find something we can both do. And guess what? There's going to be very few things that you're going to be able to do well together. Even I approach golf differently than my girlfriend, although she does play. I'm into the nuances of it, the mental game of it, and everything. She's not. I don't expect her to do that, and if I attempt to control her the way she plays, the way she thinks, and it's going to be very boring for her. It's going to be this dominating kind of a domineering kind of thing over her while she's playing. I don't want to make it. I want her just to enjoy herself. I don't really care. If you keep score, you don't keep score. I just want you to come out here and enjoy yourself. Enjoy the outdoors. Let's do something together. We travel. We go play golf in different places. And I've had people tell me, yeah, I wish my wife played golf. And what that leads me to believe is that their partner is making them feel guilty for going out and doing something they enjoy, right?
Right.
So they want them to come out there, too, so they can do more of what they like. And it creates a really crazy dynamic. I'm like, relationships are best when what people bring to the relationship is a sense of satisfaction, self-satisfaction, a sense of a positive sense of self and purpose in life,
Absolutely.
and a happiness and a joy for living because they're doing something that makes them feel that way, right? I want those people to come together. And, if both of them go separately off in their own directions for a few hours a week or, an hour a day or whatever it is, one goes and plays tennis and has a great time. The other one goes and plays golf. They come back together. They both feel good about themselves, great about life. They enjoyed themselves. They can have a conversation about how things went. But what most importantly they're doing is they're bringing together positivity, positive energy into the relationship. And that's going to sustain the relationship for a very long time versus, I don't want you to go play tennis. You play too long, and I don't want you to go play golf because it takes 4 hours and I'm bored and I don't have anything to do and, you're always there. I mean, like, wait a minute. Hold on a second. What do you like to do?
Right.
If you turn around and give up, if you give up what you love, give up something that brings you joy and fun and fulfillment and makes you feel happy in life, eventually it's going to wear on you because you're going to ask yourself, why am I denying myself this thing for this, right? You become resentful against the other person for actually taking away a part of you. And if the relationship doesn't work out, where are you? And what role did that play in the relationship not working out? It's better to be an independent person. This is where Glenn and I disagreed a lot. It's better to be an individual pursuing your life, your soul's intentions, and come together and share a life together and create things that you like that you can enjoy with your partner, but you don't give up those things that make you feel good about life, that make life worth living for you, that help you fall in love and continually re-fall in love with your existence, as the young lady said. Fall in love with your existence. I love that. I love that line. I really, really do. Haven't heard it before, and it's very original. And I think that's a great magnet for the refrigerator. Fall in love with your existence. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people doing what they don't like to do, things they don't like to do.
I couldn't agree more, Michael. Yeah, and I think that, when you meet somebody and, it's like you have a chemistry or whatever else that comes across the pike, but at some point, I don't know, I love somebody posted the acronym for FEAR, fear is appearing real. And I think that that's where people go, is into that fear. Well, maybe they won't like me, or, oh, no, they'll break up with me if I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't try it, And I was at a college. The young man that I dated loved Frisbee golf, so I took up Frisbee golf. And I couldn't throw as far, and it was fun for me. But sometimes, I couldn't keep up the same way that they did, and then he loved to climb, so I took up climbing, and I really liked climbing. It's a solitary thing that I saw improvement, and I never had that upper body strength, and I was able to pull myself over overhangs and things like that, and so there was a lot of different things, but there were things that I enjoyed doing, that I needed to keep for my own sanity, that if I wasn't doing them, and I think that that's where, when you talk about relational with the we, that you're afraid that this we isn't going to exist if you don't like all the same things. And when the person starts to date you, and they're interested in you because of your interests too, and I think some people forget about that. And I mean, how boring is it to date yourself? That you want to just, or be in a marriage with yourself where you like everything the same. I mean, it's possible. And Glenn and I used to say that. I used to say that to him too. I'm like, you need, and it was a big. And maybe it's because, and that's why you're my muse, Michael, because we are so much alike, that we do understand the importance of developing who we are and impacting ourselves and adding joy to our own lives. And it doesn't mean that just because it's not a narcissistic thing to want to do what you love and to keep your own values. And I think not compromising and never compromising. And this whole year, I think, has been one of the themes has been about integrity. So doing what you're being, honoring who you are, and do not compromise that for any person or any job or anybody. That you just honor who you are. And I think that that's really truly how you become happier. And I think that as you own and discover who you are, that's how we do stay young. And you find different things that you're like, wow, I never knew about this before. And you start to tackle it or investigate it. And my aunt, my great aunt Edna, who passed at 100, when she was 87, started to learn about pie. And everybody was like, oh, you sweet old lady who's interested in pie. Well, it wasn't the pie that you were baking. It was the pie, like 3.14. And she just was fascinated by it. She had been a teacher in a one-room schoolhouse. And, her husband had passed, and she lived on a ranch all by herself and took care of kittens and cats that people would drop off and did all these things. But she just had a passion for this pie. And she said, what's interesting is she said she started finding people. She hung out with a lot of young people because they kept her young, because they were interested in some of the topics that she was interested in. And it was an unusual hobby. I don't know if there's a pie club around that you can join, or maybe even a Facebook page that talks about it. But I just always thought that was so wonderful, that was something that she really had discovered at age 87 and enjoyed it until she took her last breath. So
wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, we have. We were talking about the fact that if I want to go back to the gentleman who was looking to defy the aging process, I've learned that there's no silver bullet.
Sure.
There's no silver bullet. There's no silver bullet that's going to keep you from aging. It's not. It's a combination of different things. What you decide not to eat, in many cases, is more important than what you do eat. By the way, this gentleman was taking 100-plus different supplements, He walked in.
Wow,
he had
a
a storeroom. He was walked into a storeroom that he had, and he showed it. He says, I take over 100 supplements a day, and in this storeroom is a year's supply of each. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of supplements. He was going talking about somebody who had ingested every piece of different information and adapted it into his own life. That's all well and good, and hey, I'm not slighting the gentleman for doing that. I'm simply saying that, again, there's no silver bullet. You could do all of that. And by the way, you go to blue zones where people live to be 100.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And, that, not even that is a silver bullet. You know why? Because the one thing about those blue zones that they have in common is that, number one, there's great air quality. They don't have the stress of having to leave to go to drive an hour to work every day. They're in areas where the weather is, it could be very hot in the summer, but it's cooler or colder in the winter. There's that disparity of that difference between temperature changes. They get out and they move every day. Mm-hmm. They're still working. They're still applying their minds to what they do. They have a sense of connection in the community. And, there's a lot of different things. None of them are sitting around with 100 supplements, doing all these different things, to keep their organs, it's just crazy, right? So, I had to tell you a little story. My first wife, her grandfather, he was 83 years of age, healthy, awesome, and he works in the garden every day. He had a magnificent garden, and he used to share the vegetables and things. He had a great-looking house. And one day, he was out for his walk, because he walked every day. He tripped over a little rise in a sidewalk. He fell down, and he fractured his collarbone.
Oh, my.
He was dead in 2 weeks.
Oh,
from the fact that he had cancer in his bone marrow. The bone, you can have marrow cancer and not, it never impacts the rest of your body because it's sealed within your bone marrow. And his autopsy was pretty amazing. The autopsy came back and he said, well, this gentleman, the doctor had said, if he hadn't fallen and fractured his collarbone and released the cancer, no telling how long he would have lived. He had the organs of a 20-year-old. That's what the doctor said. He had the organs, and this is a man, by the way, who smoked for 40 years. So his, you would say, can organs regenerate? Oh yeah, if you start doing the right things. He was eating fresh fruits that he grew. He had this little concoction that he made every day that he took a teaspoon of that he never told anybody the recipe for. He called it his elixir of life. But he walked every day, and he had a smile on his face. He had a one McDonald's burger and fries a week.
Wow.
Didn't drink excessively. He liked cheap beer. There's no silver bullet. There is none.
There isn't. No, there is not.
We can just hope to be happy in the moment and let that bleed into every area of our lives. And, I've always said, frame your life around all the things that bring you joy. Mm-hmm. As many things as possible that bring you joy, make you happy, put a smile on your face, make you laugh. As many things as possible. If you had the choice between doing that and exposing yourself to crime, death, killing, drama, and all those other things out there that don't put a smile on your face, which one would you do? Most people would choose the first, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
However, that's not true, because every day you turn on the news, you watch reality TV, you put yourself in positions in terms of employment that you don't like. It's for the money. It pays well. You make decisions that are counter to those things that make you feel good and make life worth living.
Right.
I see it over and over again. right? I have seen people out here on the golf course just frustrating the heck out of themselves. They're angry. They're ticked off. They're about to break their clubs. And I'm like, why are you doing all that? Why are you out here doing it?
They're not even enjoying it, for sure.
Yeah, they're not enjoying it. And partly because
you're right.
It's what they do in life. It's what they do with everything.
Yeah. I know. I see people that run sometimes, and they look so pained when they're running. There's no smile on their face. And I can't even fathom that. When I would see, I think, for me, it's fall here on the East Coast, so the colors are changing, and I bathed my one dog the other day. She's a big German Shepherd, and it's hard to dry her. But I thought, okay, we'll walk down the block, and then we walked around, and then I thought she still wasn't dry. I'm like, let's go take a walk in the park, and it was so nice to be around the leaves and the changing colors and all the things. I don't think didn't take a smile off my face the rest of the night after having that just peaceful experience. I didn't have my phone with me, which was great. Nobody could call me. It was just her and I. And I think I walked her. She looked at me when we got to the house. She's like, I really have to go up these stairs now? How far did you walk me? And it was just, I was just enjoying the day. And I think that's what it is. It's about figuring out what works for you and makes you feel good. And I think and even having the courage to try something new. We do get into a routine. And so, like you said, instead of turning on the television and putting on the show, maybe put on some, one of the music shows like The Voice that you haven't watched, or comedy, or something different that would be out of your normal comfort zone, I guess, or just turn the TV off and do something else, whether it's drawing or cooking together or whatever it is. I think it's an important thing and we do have these comfort zones that we kind of, we have, and I kind of laugh. It's like, I think back to the movie Fight Club, where the main character, Ed Norton, I don't remember his name in the thing, but, he got on the plane and he talked about this single serving life he had. And he talked how everything was compartmentalized, and he went into like IKEA apartment, and everything was the same until he got into this Fight Club. Now, I'm not saying everybody should join Fight Club, but it was just about getting out of your comfort zone and trying something different.
Yeah. That is so true. Getting out of your comfort zone can be exhilarating. And as I tell most people on my podcast and in live talks, is that it's all about the perception of that you develop about what you're doing. It's all about where your head is at, right? Where your head is. If you take up golf with the mindset that it's going to be hard, tough, difficult, frustrating before you can enjoy the game, I wouldn't bother. The joy is in the journey. Make the journey the joy. That's really what you have to do. And laugh at yourself when you make mistakes and figure out how to do it better. That's what I do all day long. I'll play for 4 hours or 3 hours or 2.5 hours, how long it takes me to play, and I don't know how I'm going to play when I get on the first tee. I have no clue. Just because I shot a great score last time doesn't mean I'm going to repeat the process. It's still, there's no given. And I literally, a couple weeks ago, I went out, it was I went to Turkey since then, so let's say about 8 weeks ago. I went out, I had shot an incredible round of golf, and then on Sunday, and then on Friday I went out to play with some people, and the front side of the course was great, and on the back side, it deteriorated to the point where I shot a score I hadn't shot in at least 5 years. Nothing went right. I'm like, no matter what I did, I just couldn't fix it. So I just laughed at it and said, gosh dang, I don't know what's going on now, but, I don't know. It's just, I'm just, today's not the day, maybe
Right.
And then I went out on 2 days later and shot an amazing score again. That's the way life is. You laugh at your foibles, and because you have to minimize them. We know now based on what the teachers were saying with Carol Collins, that what we want to do is put the least amount of negative feelings into an event as possible. The least amount of negative feelings. Quickly pivot. Whatever alchemy you need to use, pivot out of the negative into the positive as quickly as possible. And the best thing to do for me is just to laugh. Laugh about it. Oh, gosh.
Oh, absolutely.
Just laugh. Just laugh about it and let it go. Nothing is so serious that it requires all the negativity and in full on investment of negative emotions and feelings. It's nothing, And to people out there who have young people out there who grew up in nothing but the digital era, this is going to be the greatest challenge. This is going to be the greatest challenge because there's so many outside forces that are influential in your life and that you deem important because it's coming from a digital realm. You automatically think it's important if somebody puts a video up and says something. You think that it's the gospel, that it's, that's the way it is in life. And if people, start saying things because of one feeling or another, it's just someone's opinion. The fact that they amplified it in social doesn't make it true.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't deserve a bigger demonstration of emotion, negative emotion. It doesn't at all. And I don't know. It's going to be the greatest challenge going forward. They've already talked about how social media is designed to be addictive. How people who get into it find it very, very challenging to leave it because it is so addictive, and because it gives you that quick hit. If you get a positive like or something on what you did, it's that dopamine hit, right? So we have to get back to basics, like maybe perhaps when we grew up, which is seeing people face to face, connecting with people face to face, moving every day in one way or another. Get together and with some people in a neighborhood and walk. In the evening, if not in the morning, we have after dinner. Let's get together and take a walk for half an hour down around the block and wherever, or we'll meet in the park and we'll walk around the park for half an hour. And instead of watching television, let's get out and move. We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll connect.
Oh, Yeah, my one friend has sort of created a nice community space, and they do a drum circle once a week, and they have somebody that tends the fire, and the people that have drums bring lots of extras so people can participate. And I watch when people come to the circle. It's designed for everyone who wants to participate. And you see somebody who's never hit a drum before, and then there's like that trepidation, and it's like, well, am I going to be with the beat or I'm not with the beat? But it doesn't really matter because it's a community thing. And I think that that's really what we're, when Michael Tellinger talks about one small town and us coming back into these communities where you connect with people. And I love that you guys do this thing with the crabs because it's creating a sense of community. Yeah, you and Sandy could have just a couple of people over and just do the same thing. But when you're extending it out and it grows and it grows and and people look forward to it. Like, are you still doing that next year? How wonderful. How wonderful to be able to create that fellowship in that community. And it does bring you joy. And I do, at any age, you can do something like that. It doesn't matter. And there is no, you could invite children to it. You could, have elderly people. It's something that brings happiness and joy to everybody. And I think that's what it is. It's about engaging and connecting. And the rest of it just follows.
A friend of ours, not to interrupt you, but a friend of ours had just a impromptu happy hour. She just said, I'm having happy hour at 5. Come on over. And
nice.
A lot of people showed up, and it was just fun to sit and talk with people about what they were doing, what they were engaged in, how they were enjoying life. and for a couple of hours. She said, "You want to bring some hors d'oeuvres? Bring some hors d'oeuvres." And so we all got together and we shared things. We used to do that sort of thing during COVID lockdowns and stuff. People used to do a happy hour on Zoom. We did that. Now it's time to do it in person.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so much funner in person. To engage with people in that.
Yeah,
oh no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How are we doing on time? I have no clue.
We have about 3 minutes. Do you want to? You can wrap up the show if you want.
Oh, geez. Certainly. I'm just a blabbing ball of gas today. Just kidding. Okay, so
no, not at all.
Yeah, when you look at it fascinates me. It fascinates me the human experience. When I think about the fact that we're all, vibrational beings, non-physical vibrational beings in human form, in a physical form, it brings new meaning to what we're doing here. We're experiencing life. That's what we're doing. And we're doing it in a way that it evokes feelings and emotions. It requires thought. It requires us to be present in our lives instead of being on autopilot. And the one thing that I have managed to do in the past 30 years is plus in most of my life is to not be on autopilot. It's not saying that you don't get on autopilot every once in a while, and you have to pull yourself away from it. You have to recognize what's going on and go, wait. Am I living or am I just going through the motions? We want to live. We want to live
Absolutely.
A life, an experiential life, where we try different things and we fail, and when we fail, we make an assessment as to perhaps why we failed, examine whether or not it's something we want to do, is it something that's healthy for us, whatever it may be. I like rock climbing too, to a point, but I'm not going to, climb El Capitan.
Right.
Sure. I'm not into climbing Everest, but I might like climbing a little Sierra Hill or something. A little. It's you're never going to tell. The bottom line is that it's kind of like travel with me. I love travel. I love to go places, and it's not so much for the places as much as who I'll meet.
Right.
And I met a nice couple from Panama City, Panama. He's a baker, and she's a teacher. And it's amazing to just sit and talk with people. You meet, you exchange information, and maybe you connect up in another, every couple of months you connect to see how each other's doing. And if you get a chance to get to their area, you can have a meal together, share some wine, relax, and talk about life. That is the beauty of it. To me, that's why I travel, because I meet so many people. So being locked up in your house with your TV is not healthy technically if you're not connecting with people in real life. And we as human souls were meant to connect. So that's what we have to strive to do in order to stay young, stay healthy, mentally and physically, is to connect with people. Figure out a way to do it. If you're not doing it now, listeners, or here on PRN-FM, figure out a way to examine your hobbies and go out and pick them up again, participate in them, find new ones, discover, be curious.
Beautiful, thank you. And fall in love with your existence.
I love that, yes. Fall in love with your existence.
Yeah. Fall in love with your existence.
I'm going to write that one down big time.
I know, on a T-shirt for sure. Well, thank you, Michael, and thank you, everybody, for joining us. And until next time, abundant blessings to you always. And so grateful to connect with you, Michael, here on Connect Love. It's been delightful as usual. So thank you all.
Till next time.